I want, since my charming daughter is here, I want to answer one other question right away. It's called a personal question here, person with a question mark after the personal. Would you describe in what way your children were involved with the Skinner box? That means the so-called air crib, not the lever-pressing box. Did you use some principles of behavior analysis to raise your children? What was the outcome? Well, I welcome this question because I like to correct some rumors that go around. I don't know, I'm sure that some of you have heard them. A distinguished psychiatrist, whose name you all know, I won't mention it, told a distinguished person whose name you also would know, that the child that we raised in the so-called box, the air crib, became psychotic. I wrote to him, I said, we've heard this before, and I've often wondered where it came from. Would you mind telling me where you heard this rumor? Our daughter is very intelligent, talented, married. Her husband teaches international studies at the University of Warwick. They live in London and Leamington Spa. My daughter is a very successful artist. She does large colored etchings and sells all she can produce and so on. I don't see any ill effects of the crib on her. Well, he wrote a very apologetic letter, I must say that. He didn't tell me where he heard it. Then one summer, a British critic came over and said to a friend of ours, who is a professor of literature at Harvard, isn't it too bad about that daughter of the Skinners they raised in the box killing herself? And our friend said, well, when did she do that? I was swimming with her yesterday. But recently I've been getting letters. I've had 2 or 3 in the last month. Is it true that your daughter is suing you? I wish to say, that's the daughter who's not here. I can't put her on display, but she's not suing me. We have a very good relationship, as a matter of fact. As to using behavior modification, it's very curious. I look back on it now. I never did use any kind of contrived reinforcing contingencies on my children, nor are there any in Walden 2. It's a very curious thing, I think. Walden 2 was written 7 years after the publication of The Behavior of Organisms, published 10 years after. It was the application of the principles that I thought I had discovered to the design of a culture. But the reinforcing contingencies in the culture are all natural. In fact, there's a very strong trend against contrived ones. You don't ever say thank you in Walden 2. That's a contrived reinforcer, you see. And that was true with my children. I never had a token economy. I never had a gold star point system, anything of that sort. The only exception with my younger daughter, Deborah, I did twice shape a bit of behavior through the use of a reinforcer. Once when she was about 7 or 8 months old, I was sitting in the living room holding her on my lap and playing with her and having fun. The room was getting dark, and I reached up and turned on the lamp. And she smiled. And I thought, a reinforcer, the same thing. So my daughter at least contributed to the improvement in the lives of vegetative idiots. Anyway, when she was 4 or 5 years old, I was telling her a bedtime story, rubbing her back. I was sitting on the edge of her bed, rubbing her back. And I thought, well, this is reinforcing. I'll see what I can do with this. So I waited until she lifted her foot, and I rubbed her back, and I stopped. Lifted her foot again, and rubbed her back. Then she gave a great kick and started to laugh. I said, what are you laughing at? She said, when I lift my foot, you rub my back. She had advanced from the animal to the human stage by that time. She could talk about the contingencies of reinforcement, and did. And both my daughters would say to me, "Don't use your psychology on us." And I never actually did. So they turned out well for perhaps the wrong reasons.